Dereck LaVon Cummings II was born in Orlando, Florida on November 28, 1991. He was one of 3 children born to parents Dereck Cummings and Antwan Ware. According to his loved ones, Dereck was known within his community by the name Antwan Miles, as well as D-Rock and Pooh Bear. His mother described him as the life of the party and the guy who wanted to be the center of attention. He was educated in the Orange County Public School District and graduated from Dr. Phillips High School. At the time of our story, Dereck was 31 years old and a father of 4 with a 5th child on the way. Dereck was well known in his community as an entertainment promoter and community event organizer. He even had a brief stint as a rap artist at one point under his Antwan Miles moniker. In fact, he's got a whole catalog of music still up on YouTube as we speak. He was also described as a powerful voice and community activist for nonviolence. His music video for the songs Warlando and Orlando 2 speak on the dangers of gun violence and a call for peace.
The victim's friend told you at least 20 people he knew died in local shootings.
Antwan Miles knows the cost of gun violence. Miles' friends died just this week. His former neighbor, 47-year-old Jeffrey Webb, died in a shooting outside this 7-Eleven on North Lane Parkway Sunday night. Then, less than 48 hours later, his friend Sade Dixon died after deputies say her ex-boyfriend, Marquis Floyd, shot her.
In the early morning hours of Saturday, January 28, 2023, Dereck was about to become a victim of the very thing that he fought so hard to change. At 5:30 a.m., Dereck was shot and killed near the Carrington Park condominiums in Castleberry. According to his mother, Antwan Ware, it's not just the family that's hurting, it's Orlando. Whoever did this took a lot from the city of Orlando. Dereck was definitely the life of the party. The genuine love they have for Dereck, it's been overwhelming. She went on to describe her son as a family man and lamented the fact that his new baby would never get to know his father, saying, the new baby, he's not going to get to know his father. He's not going to get to know the loving person he is. According to reports from Fox 35 Orlando, detectives suggested that the shooting was between Dereck and someone that he knew, which seemed odd since he was so well loved and respected in his community. According to Antwan, being in the promoting business, I'm sure you gain jealousy or things of that nature, but nothing to kill him over. There was no reason. Look what he's done to a family. Children will have to grow up without a father. One will never meet their father. Now, Antwan wasn't wrong about the possibility of people being jealous of her son. As we've mentioned previously, Dereck was a successful promoter that had gigs lined up all week and was very public about where he was going to be. If you scroll through his Facebook photos, it's pages of flyers promoting various events at clubs around Central Florida. On the evening of January 27th, Dereck would have been promoting an event at LIABLE Caribbean Restaurant in Southland Boulevard in Orlando. On Sunday, January 29th, dozens of community members gathered together in a parking lot to pay their respects to Dereck. The memorial was broadcast on local news stations, and reporter Stephanie Buffamonte took to Twitter to urge anyone with information about Dereck's murder to come forward and share what they know with Crime Line Florida.
They want answers, and so do investigators with the Castleberry Police Department. This happened on Saturday, and since then, they've been on the search for the killer.
Emotions were hard to hold back during last night's vigil, as the community remembered a friend, father, and son.
We're trying to do as best we can under the circumstances.
His mom, Antwan Ware, told us 31-year-old Dereck Cummings was a father of 4, 3 boys and a girl with another baby on the way. But early Saturday morning, Cummings was found shot to death in the parking lot of his condo community in Castleberry. It's a death that sent ripples through the community. He was a local rapper who went by the stage name Antwan Miles. 6 years ago, he spoke out against violence with an interview with us about the death of 2 of his own friends.
It got to start somewhere, and it's going to start with us, people like me.
Now a victim of violence himself, his family wants justice for a man they say only wanted to make others smile.
The life of the party, Mr. Giggles, Mr. Start Everything, to make sure that everybody's having a good time.
Police say they know someone knows exactly what happened here in this parking lot area. If that's you, don't hesitate to give them a call. Reporting live, Hugh McCrae, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
On March 31st, 2023, just over 2 months after Dereck's life was senselessly snuffed out, the Castleberry police held a press conference to discuss 2 arrest warrants that had been issued for those they believed were involved in the shooting. One suspect, 21-year-old Daquan Woods, was taken into custody near his home in Apopka, Florida. Another suspect, 28-year-old Bobby Houston Bridges III, was still at large. Bridges was known to live in the Apopka area with ties to Atlanta, Georgia.
This is our victim, 31 years of age, senselessly lost his life because somebody we believe wanted what he had, which was money. He was a father of 4. It's important to know this, with a 5th child on the way. Mr. Cummings was just trying to make a living to support himself and his family. We have no indication to suggest that Mr. Cummings had any known ties or relationships to the individuals that committed this murder.
Next, Chief Larry Krantz briefs the reporters about what exactly happened on the morning of January 28, 2023.
So as you may be aware, on January 28th of 2023, at about 05:27 hours in the morning, we received multiple calls of gunshots being heard in the area of the Carrington Park condos, which is located off of Howell Branch Road in our community. When our officers arrived, they located Mr. Cummings lying on a sidewalk on Caper Lane suffering from multiple gunshots. Unfortunately, Mr. Cummings succumbed to those injuries.
Chief Krantz shared a bit about Dereck's business and what might have prompted the robbery turned homicide.
As a promoter, Mr. Cummings was known to it's a cash business, and he was known to carry what we believe to be large amounts of cash, which what we believe is what led up to this event. So what the evidence suggests at this time is that when Mr. Cummings parked his vehicle at his complex, he was confronted by these 2 individuals and attempted to rob him. Now, whether or not they were trying to get him to force him back into his apartment or his condo is unknown, but it's possible, because what we believe, Mr. Cummings knew that his girlfriend and children were in the home, that he made an effort to keep them away from that area. So during the confrontation, he fled. He fled towards the other end of the complex to get away. And unfortunately, he was shot and he succumbed to his injuries. We know this through witness testimony and through evidence on the scene that he did flee from one side, by his apartment, to the other end of the complex. And in so doing, he also discarded his keys to his car, which also included other various keys, which very well may have included those to his residence. Again, I think he was heroic in his actions to say, I don't want these individuals getting into my home where they can hurt my family.
Now, just so we're clear, not only was Dereck a stand-up guy, but he died a hero protecting his girlfriend and children.
The detectives, again, working very, very hard, tried to determine what happened here in this case. Well, they found out that he left from LaBelle's restaurant down in South Orange County off of OBT after he finished his work there. So they started to look at how we could determine what information we had to identify suspects. They were able to determine there was some video from the Home Depot at the Southland Boulevard Home Depot. And upon looking and reviewing that video, what they determined was they saw a white car, Infiniti, in the parking lot. The parking lot drove in and out around the parking lot multiple times, and probably was there for about 40 minutes. When Mr. Cummings left, that vehicle also had been left. So we suspect that that vehicle did in fact begin to follow Mr. Cummings all the way from LaBelle Restaurant on South OVT to his home here off of Howell Branch Road. How do we know that? Well, through the great work of the team, they were able to identify several videos, some business videos, that not only showed from Home Depot, the car in the parking lot of Home Depot, and then that car, we believe, following Mr. Cummings as it went through an intersection right near his home. We see on video Mr. Cummings driving his Camaro through the intersection, followed there shortly thereafter by the suspect vehicle, the white Infiniti. As we will show the video here in a second, you'll see that the car is following Mr. Cummings, and this video will be provided to you after the conference. You'll have it as well, be provided via email.
We're just going to fast forward through the press conference to show you the video, since the police ended up having a few technical difficulties while playing it. You'll see the car come into frame at the top of the screen and turn. The police actually have a few shots from Home Depot that were instrumental in tracing the paths that the suspects took on the morning of the 28th.
Yeah, there's still shots in there. Next. This is the overhead view from top of the business, with the same car coming through. And for orientation purposes, LaBelle's is up to the top right corner of that parking lot. It's in the center of the screen, top center of the screen would be the white infinity.
Chief, are we to assume the Camaro's in front of that white car?
The Camaro would have been parked in the top corner by the LaBelle's Club.
So right now they're just casing the joint, as it were?
That's what we believe, yes,
Okay.
that they're waiting. Now we'd like to go ahead and stay focused there. What we want to now show you is the video from a local business right near the intersection of the complex. The complex is located at the intersection basically just east of Lake Howell on Howell Branch Boulevard. And this is a video depicting that intersection. Yeah, right in the intersection is the victim's vehicle. Right about there, you'll see his brake lights will start to come on to enter the complex. Another car. There's our suspect car. Investigators noticed during this, when we're looking at the timestamp on this particular video, I wanted to note that it is a little off as it relates to the actual time of offense. And we have confirmed with it that this is about 6.5 minutes or so forward of the actual time. So this video does depict the actual car going through, but the timing is off.
So it's about 5:25 instead of 5:31.
Correct. 5:27 was our first call coming in, reporting from the witnesses about the confrontation and gunshots. It was a few minutes after the incident. You'll see the same Infiniti heading the opposite direction at what we believe to be a high rate of speed.
It's a little choppy, but I feel it paints a decent picture of what the police are trying to illustrate here. Finally, Chief Krantz opens up the floor to questions from reporters.
Chief, you've got two suspects. Do you know if you had two shooters? Do you know if there were two weapons involved?
I can't get into all the evidence, but we believe they were both actively involved in the case.
So we know he was a promoter of various, events, entertainment events. So this restaurant, it had like some sort of entertainment component where he was providing that entertainment that night? Is that how they would have known where he was going to be?
Yes, and he advertised such on his own social media as well, that he was that promoter and he would advertise his events because he wanted to get a draw for people to come in, obviously, to participate in the night events, whichever night that might have been. So he certainly did the same for this evening.
So it's your belief, investigatively, that through his own promotion of his events, as he's trying to conduct a perfectly legal and appropriate business, that people utilize that information to target him?
Well, I can't go that far at this point to say that they did that deliberately. I would say that they knew he was there and that his business, he dealt in cash, so I think that was a connection. That they knew he was working, they knew his business, he dealt with money, and they were looking to get that.
Was he had no previous contact with him?
None that we've been able to determine.
Was he seen in the business to know that they were in that business at the time that he was in the business?
We have nothing to indicate that our suspects were inside the club at this juncture, but we know that there were social media posts or live video clips thing from within the club. That's the normal routine that happens in this particular venue.
It's kind of scary for anybody that does something like that, like where they get cash on hand to do a job.
It is. It's very scary. And unfortunately, what motivates these people to act in this way, it dumbfounds me many times. Why is it that people want what someone else has and they're willing to commit such a heinous act, even just a robbery without shooting or killing anybody? Why are they so willing to commit such an act in order to take what other people have? And it's wrong. And these people need to serve time in jail. And as far as I'm concerned, they should never see the light of day again.
How did you know he was running away from the house to prevent the people from going into his home? I know you talked about throwing the keys, but what do you think that says about him?
I think he's a very brave man, heroic in his actions to say, if that's the case, which I believe that's probably what he was doing, to escape that, so that he did not want these individuals to get into his home where his family was. That speaks volumes about the character of the man, who he was, that he was willing to ensure his safety or give up his safety for himself for the safety of his loved ones.
And it would appear that even though he was in a cash business and one that would have him come home very much in the late hours, you never found any gun in his vehicle or on his person. You don't believe that he traveled with weapons?
Our victim?
Yes.
Yes, our victim possessed a firearm.
Okay.
Yes, he was legally permitted to have the firearm.
He just wasn't in a position where it happened so fast that he wasn't able to defend himself in this situation.
Correct.
On Sunday, April 2nd, 2023, just days after a warrant was issued for his arrest, Bobby Houston Bridges III turned himself into the police.
Investigators announcing the arrest of a second suspect in the murder case of entertainment promoter Dereck Cummings. They say Bobby Houston Bridges turned himself in last night after a warrant was issued for his arrest. Just last week, 21-year-old Daquan Woods was arrested in Orange County. Castleberry police believe the two tried to rob Cummings and ended up shooting him outside his condo complex in Castleberry in January.
As a promoter, he was known to carry what we believe to be large amounts of cash, which what we believe is what led up to this event.
News 6 spoke to Cummings' mother shortly after his murder. She says her son was on the way back from promoting an event and was heading home to his girlfriend and kids.
Children now have to grow up without a father. One child will never meet his father.
Both suspects are now facing first-degree murder charges with attempted robbery with a firearm.
Daquan and Bobby are currently being held at the John E. Polk Correctional Facility in Sanford, Florida. Both have been charged with first-degree felony murder and attempted robbery with a firearm. Daquan also has an additional charge of third-degree grand theft auto out of Orange County. As their case has yet to go to trial, both men are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
In the wake of Dereck's murder, his loved ones created Village of Love, Inc. For their website, Village of Love, Inc. was created to provide compassionate support, advocacy, and resources to families who have lost loved ones to senseless violence by empowering them to heal, find hope, and rebuild lives. Through our work, we aim to provide emotional support and culturally competent counseling to families in crisis, advocate for policy changes, promote gun safety, and connect families to healing and recovery resources. Village of Love is a safe space to share stories, experiences, and express grief with no judgment. We believe no family should have to navigate through the sudden, untimely death of their loved one without genuine and authentic support with no expiration. Dereck's visitation was held on February 10, 2023 at the New Hope Baptist Church in Apopka, Florida. The service held the following day at the New Life Church of God in Christ in Orlando. He was laid to rest at the Lone Oak Cemetery in Leesburg beneath a dark granite headstone that features his image, the Antwan Miles logo, and the phrase, "All miles, no breaks." It's flanked by an urn for flowers made from the same dark granite stone. It's etched in part with the phrase, "Focus on your blessing season." This is possibly a reference to Dereck's album of a similar name. On October 16, 2025, Dereck's mother, Tawanan Ware, made the following post to Facebook. In it, she discusses seeing her son's killer in court. It reads, "So this morning I had a chance to see the person who took my son's life for the first time besides seeing pictures of him. My emotions were all over the place. It was very calm, but in my head I saw myself jumping over the gate trying to get him. This person should have been in jail back in 2021 for life, and my son would have been still here with us. Getting my mental together for what's to come. This is still so surreal for me." For reference, she's talking about Bobby and his extensive criminal history. The next day, she shared the following post, which reads in part, "So today I'm doing much better than yesterday. Yesterday I had so many emotions going through my head I didn't know what to do. Went home and let them all out until I fell asleep. It's a wonder my eyes are not puffy this morning. But as always, everyone let me know that I'm not going through this by myself, and for that I'm grateful. Thank you all for the phone calls, the text messages, and comments of encouragement, prayers for me and my family, and just allowing me to vent. We have a journey ahead of us, and we are preparing as best as we know how. As said before, we don't post about our babies for sympathy or likes. We post them to keep their memories with us and y'all. I know my baby was so loved, and I know he is truly missed by everyone.